Advocacy by Jones HMMBADMS. Introduction. So many people look someone to talk on their behalf and air their views out. This calls for people to find such help in several ways. Definition of terms. Advocacy is speaking up for, or acting on behalf of, yourself or another person. Advocacy is the act of arguing on behalf of a particular issue, idea, person or animal. An advocate is someone who speak on behalf of yourself or other person. Purpose of advocacy. Advocacy is speaking up for, or acting on behalf of, yourself or another person. The other person is often receiving a service from a statutory or voluntary organization. Advocacy can help service users to make clear their own views and wishes, express and present their views effectively and faithfully, obtaining independent advice and accurate information, negotiate and resolve of conflict. Some people aren't clear about their rights as citizens or have difficulty in fully understanding these rights. Others may find it hard to speak up for themselves, and advocacy may help to meet these needs. Advocacy can enable people to take more responsibility and control for the decisions which affect their lives. Key principles. 1. What the person says and wants is the most important thing. 2. Advocacy enables individuals to do more for themselves and lessens their dependency on other people. 3. Advocacy should help people to make informed choices. An advocate must ensure the service user is making real choices based on good quality information. 4. Advocates should not have a conflict of interest. So that they can speak up for someone effectively, there must be no other pressures on the advocate. This is why the advocate needs to be independent of the service provider. 5. People must have choice about the type of advocacy they use. Service users should be able to choose the type of advocacy that suits them best. Some service users feel that they need one person who is willing to act on their behalf, whereas others will prefer the support of a group. Others will want to advocate for themselves, as far as is possible, with only the minimum of support. The choice of advocacy model will vary according to the person's needs. Code of practice for advocates. Why have a code of practice for advocates? 1. It sets out an agreed standard of service. 2. It tells people who want to use an advocate what they should be able to expect. 3. It tells other people, carers, family and staff, who provide services to the person, what an advocate can be expected to do or not do. 4. It can help advocacy groups to explain what they are trying to do and can be used as a training tool. It can also be used to train staff from statutory, voluntary or business organizations. 5. It helps advocates to understand their role and responsibilities. Code of practice for advocates. 1. An independent advocate will not be a member of staff of the organization providing the service to the service user. 2. The role of the advocate is to represent the views and wishes of the service user accurately and effectively. 3. Before agreeing to act as an advocate will always check that the role of advocacy is fully understood, and this is what the service user really wants. This may involve setting out expectations from both sides. 4. An advocacy relationship will last for as long as both parties agree. 5. An advocate will agree in advance with the service user how contact will be made, how often and in what form it will take. 6. An advocate has a right to raise any issue on behalf of the service user. 7. An advocate does not need to agree with the service user, only to respect their view and express it accurately. 8. An advocate will not take on someone else's responsibilities, but they may encourage someone to do their job more effectively. 9. An advocate will always respect the service user's right to privacy and confidentiality. 10. If an advocate is unsure about what to do because of a conflict of interest, they should contact their advocacy group or manager for support and advice. The service user's interest should not suffer because of pressure placed upon an advocate. 11. Advocates will demonstrate respect for equal opportunities in all that they do. 12. The advocate's first loyalty is always to the service user they work with. 13. Advocates must demonstrate that they are there to encourage and help the service user manage their own affairs wherever possible. 14. An advocate must be prepared to undertake appropriate training and accept guidance. Advocacy organizations should have available copies of their code of practice for the public. Advocacy models. 1. Self-advocacy. This is where an individual or group of people speaks or acts on their own behalf in pursuit of their own needs and interests, speaking up for yourself. Speaking up may be difficult because of a disability or illness, or simply because people don't take service users seriously or think they are incapable of making decisions. 2. Citizen advocacy. This is where someone else speaks up on behalf of the service user or helps them to speak up for themselves. It is based on the idea of a valued citizen, i.e., someone who does not have a problem getting heard, working with a person who is discriminated against. The relationship may develop into friendship or just working together to develop the service user's skills or confidence to manage their own situation. Citizen advocates usually come from a recognized and coordinated scheme. 3. Crisis advocacy. This is where an advocate is found to help with a one-off difficult situation or crisis. The advocate may be someone who is already a citizen's advocate. 4. Peer advocacy. This is where service users who have experienced similar problems of not being listened to may help others to speak up for themselves. A peer advocate is likely to have a very good understanding of what other service users are going through. 5. Professional advocacy. This can mean experts in a professional field, such as lawyers, being commissioned to speak up on behalf of an individual service user or group. They may or may not receive payment for acting as an advocate. 6. Collective advocacy. This is where a group of people, sometimes from very different backgrounds, campaign on behalf of themselves or others to try and change things. This could be a national organization or a local one focusing on either national or local issues. Basic elements of advocacy. 1. Selecting an advocacy objective. 2. Using data and research for advocacy. 3. Identifying advocacy audience. 4. Developing and delivering advocacy messages. 5. Building coalitions. 6. Making persuasive presentations. 7. Fundraising for advocacy. 8. Evaluating advocacy efforts.